The regulations have been changed to reduce the effect of exhausts, and where you put the exhaust is now controlled. So the usage of the exhaust to enhance the underbody flow is much reduced, and the exhaust will still have an effect, but it's much reduced. There's been a move to lower the front of the nose, which has caused these step noses, which are very prevalent, and that's been done to reduce the height of the impact if one car hits another. So I think it's a good objective. We've got to look at perhaps improving the aesthetics for the future, and a much tighter control on the engine mapping you can have to reduce the efficiency of the exhaust mode. So those are the major changes that we're facing this year. Well, it was a fascinating area, the use of exhaust energy, and as always, the cars the exhausts have been there. They have to have been there for forever. So we just didn't appreciate the benefits that could come from it, and placing the exhaust in a really strategic and beneficial place. But more importantly, then understanding how we could use the engine to provide a constant thrust of the exhaust. So, even when we were off the throttle, we were providing thrust to the exhaust. So there was no power being generated by the engine, but we were getting the exhaust gas passing through. So, as always in Formula One, we grab hold of a concept and we exploit it to beyond its maximum. And it was interesting and opened up a whole new area of understanding we had to have, both aerodynamic and engine. And as one team, as Mercedes, we had that benefit of being an engine manufacturer and designer and a chassis manufacturer and designer, so that enabled us to bring both those strengths together to get the most from it. Well, we're still getting a bit of performance from the exhaust with the new car. Nothing like was achieved with the last year's regulations and last year's concept. But there's once you learn something, once you discover something, you don't uninvent it. So all of the engineers, all of the designers in Formula One have been looking at how they can still retain some of the performance, but it's far reduced to what we had last year. And I think most people in designing their new cars would be quite happy if they were able to achieve the overall performance that they achieved last year. We were testing in Ereth with the 2011 car, and it looked to be the most consistent and fastest car there in 2011 specs. All the new 2012 cars were a bit behind that. So I think anyone who's doing their new 2012 car is able to get close to what they achieved in 2011 is doing a very good job. Well, the high chassis and high noses evolved to get the air under the car and to improve the flow in what we call the keel area and out into the side pods and under the car. So, we don't want to put the chassis higher because, of course, it's weight up high. There's no advantage to that, but we put it up high for aerodynamic reasons. So when the nose was brought down low, we wanted to try and see how we could retain some of the advantage that we had with the high chassis. And that's why you've seen these step noses, because the height of the nose is constrained up to a certain point, and the chassis is constrained after that, and the dimensions are different. This extra height for the chassis was retained because there were a few teams who said maybe we want to carry on with our 2011 chassis, and because we want to carry on with our 2011 chassis, we want to be able to match the new nose up to it. So the FIA agreed, at least for now, to let that pass. But I think I doubt, quite frankly, whether there's going to be many people who've carried over their chassis from last year. So I think it may be a detail that will improve in the future.